This is the latest departure for the artistic duo Robin Nick Carter. It's been 3 years in the making, and in collaboration with the moving picture company, they have made the world's first digitally rendered painting. It's an extraordinary artwork. From a distance, it looks like the original painting, which is a Dutch Golden Age masterpiece. It was painted in 1618 by a gentleman called Ambrosius Bosschaert the Elder. He's an icon of Dutch Golden Age painting. And his original painting was flowers in a vase and an arched window. And Robin Nick Carter, in the year 2012, have presented us with a very 21st century take on his original oil painting. The original painting's in the Maurits House in The Hague, and is a wonderful example of a very inventive artistic mind operating in the early part of the 17th century. Bosschaert wanted to create the most dramatic, the most compelling, and the most innovative still life possible, and in order to do so he employed hundreds of studio assistants. He was based in Middelburg, where there were actually a lot of botanists, and they had these fantastic botanical drawings. And so using the expertise of his studio assistants, he was able to conjure up an extraordinary still life, using flowers that could never have possibly existed together at one time. So they were all from different seasons, and actually from different parts of the world. And he was able to present to the viewer a really unusual, compelling still life. You know, cut flowers at that time was still a very rare and precious commodity. So in the 21st century, Robin Nick Carter have worked with the moving picture company, I suppose their equivalent of the fantastical botanists in Middelburg, and used their expertise, which is effectively, you know, the world's best digital rendering. And they have produced a really sympathetic and authentic response to Bosschaert's painting. This is a digitally rendered film, so what you're seeing is a loop that lasts 3 hours, and it takes this vase, this still life conjured by Bosschaert, and it takes it through the course of the day. So we start early in the morning, and the film shifts imperceptibly throughout the course of the day toward the evening, and actually ends with stars in the sky. Now that's all happening without us being able to see it. So as I stand here, the clouds are moving, the water level's coming down in the vase, the shadows are lengthening as the day progresses. And that's all happening at such a slow pace that I can't see it. But actually what I do notice is about every 2 or 3 minutes there's some real-time activity, and that's all based on actual information found in the original painting. So you might see a snail or a ladybird or a butterfly, and even caterpillars coming to eat the leaves throughout the course of the day. And those special moments provide this sort of tantalizing glimpse into this secret life of the still life, the fact that it's operational, it has an existence, it has its own life. And what's really wonderful about it is the longer you look, the more you're rewarded. The artists talk about research that they've done into the typical length of time we look at an image. You know, in a world saturated with images and, you know, numerous galleries that we're lucky enough to be able to visit, we might really spend just a few seconds looking at any given artwork. Whereas here, you're really encouraged to spend a lot of time looking, and that time is rewarded by not just in terms of getting to see an activity happening with a snail, but actually slowly watching the passing of time. It's this very sort of Proustian experience. You're thinking about the way that time passes at every single moment. It's like a child looking up at the clouds and seeing how fast they move. It's deeply evocative, and it sort of takes you to another place. And what I love about this work is that the artists have really picked up where Ambrosius Bosschaert left off. They've produced a 21st century still life painting, which makes me want to look at Dutch Golden Age painting in a new way. And quite frankly, every time I look at this work and then look at another painting, I'm left slightly perplexed as to why it's not moving. It's so compelling and so believable. And it's really truly a modern masterpiece.